It's going to be okay.
All right. Well, good to hear you. I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah, I told them, I said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes. Okay. So
I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah, I said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes. Okay. So
I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah, I said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes. Okay. So
I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah, I said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes. Okay. So
I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah, I said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes. Okay. So
I think you got a couple folks in the waiting room too.
yes.
Yeah, Michael and Lane.
All right. Well, good to hear you.
Yeah. Why am I hearing this 500 times?
I don't know.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
500 times. I don't know. Okay. Sorry for the delay. We had a little technical trouble, but we are here and ready to celebrate Halloween. Sorry for the delay. We had a little technical trouble, but we are here and ready to celebrate Halloween. Sorry for the delay. We had a little technical trouble, but we are here and ready to celebrate Halloween.
Okay. Am I on?
You're on.
You're on.
Okay. I was still hearing like 5 echoes, so I was
Yep.
like,
Same.
okay. All right. Are we ready now? Okay, I think we
Yes.
got, all right. Well, I'm having to move to my iPad for the chat, so hold on. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is All Hallows Eve on 2024. I am your host for the evening. I am the Madame Jeanette. Yeah. Tonight we will have special guests from near and far, maybe from the past, maybe from the future. You will never know. However, we will be celebrating our wonderful author, Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. That did not mean to rhyme, but it did. Okay. Anyway, so starting us off, we are going to bring some entertainment to your life. We're going to watch a special that is brought to us by our wonderful Jason Markiewicz. He has done a rendition for one of our favorite stories, Manuscript in a Bottle. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Markiewicz so he can introduce it and then we can enjoy whatever he shows. So stay tuned. We will return. Go for it.
All right. Well, thank you. That was a great intro. Thanks, everybody, for being part of this tonight. I've been looking forward to it for a while. As our illustrious hostess mentioned, this is an audio dramatization of Edgar Allan Poe's first story, so arguably the one that kind of kicked his career off as a writer. It's called Manuscript Found in a Bottle. Traditionally, my audio dramas have been multicast, multi-voice actor, along with the custom sound effects and music. This one I did a little bit differently, where I played all the roles. I did the narration, but I also did all the characters you'll hear behind me in that story. But there is still custom sound effects to bring you that nautical presence, as well as music that was designed especially for this production. So it runs about 25 minutes or so, but you'll notice a few changes in the script. You'll notice a few additions, some deletions and so forth. So if you're very word perfect on the original story, you will notice some modifications, but you will absolutely get Poe's first story, Manuscript Found in a Bottle. So thank you again very much for this opportunity. I hope you all enjoy it.
All right, here we go.
Markiewicz Audio Works proudly presents Edgar Allan Poe's Manuscript Found in a Bottle.
Performed by Jason Markiewicz, with music by Hayden Folker. How many stories of pirates, hurricanes, whirlpools, ghost ships, and oceanic phenomena encountered upon the sea are based upon fact? How many are the result of legends, superstitions, or fears? And how many are simply fantastical fiction in its truest form? In 1833, Edgar Allan Poe mixed the macabre with the supernatural when, as one of 6 tales he entered into a short story writing contest, he crafted Manuscript Found in a Bottle. Written well before his more famous Gothic tales, this story defeated more than 100 other entries and won the aforementioned contest, earning him a prize of $50 and publication in the October 19, 1833 edition of Baltimore's Saturday Visitor newspaper. Poe went on to write 2 more nautical short stories, A Descent into the Maelstrom and The Oblong Box, as well as his only full-length novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, which he authored in 1837, and which, coincidentally, also ends abruptly near Antarctica. Manuscript Found in a Bottle is widely believed to be the story that launched Poe's career as a writer, though it is also suggested that it was written as a satire on the sea stories of the day. Regardless, it predates many stories of similar themes like Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Herman Melville's Moby Dick. And it even garnered high praise from author Joseph Conrad of Heart of Darkness fame, whose turn-of-the-century tales of life at sea and other exotic places are still considered English literary masterpieces today. In this story, Poe describes, and we have endeavored to preserve, fantastic storms, harsh conditions, ghostly encounters, and the perils of being pulled into a gigantic whirlpool near the Earth's icy southern pole. We hope you enjoy this audio dramatization of Edgar Allan Poe's Manuscript Found in a Bottle. In the dawn of my 16th year, I left my home and spent years traveling across foreign lands. Eventually, whether by accident or by providence, I found myself at the port of Batavia on the rich and populous island of Java. It was here, in the year 1833, that I set out on my next great adventure and secured passage aboard a magnificent ship destined for places unknown. Oh, the vessel was a beautiful ship of about 400 tons, copper-fastened, with 3 large masts and massive rolls of sails braced against the sky above a deck of Malabar teak. Native laborers loaded carts full of textiles and other luxuries such as cotton wool and oil, jaggery, ghee, coconuts, as well as a few cases of opium. In the distance, I heard the final call to board the ship. I flung my pack over one shoulder and with a deep breath ascended the gangway alongside a tall man who muttered something excitedly to me in what sounded like Swedish. Ensign! The captain ordered the moorings cleared and we got underway with barely a breath of wind, and for many days crept slowly along the eastern coast of Java. But one evening, nearly a week after leaving port, and while leaning over the rail at the stern of the ship, I observed a very singular, isolated cloud to the northwest. It was remarkable in its color, and was the first such cloud we had seen since our departure from Batavia. I watched it attentively until sunset, when it spread all at once to the eastward and westward, settling on the horizon with a narrow strip of vapor, and looking like a long line of low beach. I was soon afterwards attracted by the dusky red appearance of the moon and the peculiar character of the sea. The latter was undergoing a rapid change, and the water below us at about 15 fathoms seemed more than usually transparent. The air now became intolerably hot. As night came on, every breath of wind died away, and a more entire calm it is impossible to conceive. The flame of a candle burned upon the aft deck without the least perceptible motion. The captain, a burly man with a round belly and sour disposition, called out to us from across the ship that he saw no indication of danger, and as we were drifting toward the shore, ordered the sails to be furled and the anchor lowered. The largely Malaysian crew sprang to work as if their very lives were at stake and stretched themselves deliberately on the deck. After a few minutes, I noticed the changing scene around us. The sky was growing increasingly red, and as the candle on the aft deck was snuffed by a contrary breeze, the clouds seemed to frown upon the ship. The crew continued their work as per the captain's orders. Seeing the activity and commotion of the crew and the presentment of evil in the hot, dust-laden wind now encircling our position, I approached the captain and expressed my fears. He proceeded to laugh heartily at my concerns and paid me no attention whatever before going below.
Get out of my way, boy.
That night, my uneasiness still churning through me, I was prevented from sleeping, and about midnight I went upon deck. The storm had continued to build during the evening hours. As I placed my foot upon the upper step of the companion ladder, I was startled with a loud humming noise, and before I could ascertain its meaning, the ship began to rattle furiously underneath me. In the next instant, a wilderness of seawater and foam threw me from my step and swept across the ship from stem to stern. The extreme fury of the blast proved the great strength of the ship's construction. Although completely waterlogged and pushed forcefully underneath the magnificent wave, she rose heartily, and as if defiant against the forces of nature and the tempest itself, staggered and righted upon the sea once again. By what miracle I escaped my own death, it is impossible for me to say. Stunned by the shock of the water and having been thrown mightily from my perch, I found myself upon recovery jammed in between the stern post and rudder. With great difficulty I stood, and looking dizzily around, was awestruck beyond my wildest imagination to discover we had in fact been engulfed in a whirlpool of mountainous and foaming ocean. It was magnificent to behold, and I feared I may have been the only one to survive. My fear subsided as I heard the voice of a fellow shipmate, an old Swede who had boarded the ship at the same time as I. I pressed my hands against my eyes, pushing the seawater away, and called to him with all my strength. Through the mist, I saw his visage proceeding to my position at the aft of the great ship. We soon discovered that we were the only survivors. All who were on deck, with the exception of ourselves, had been swept overboard, and the captain and mates must have perished as they slept, for the cabins were deluged with water. The Swede and I could do little to steer or secure the ship without assistance, and we expected we might sink. The hurricane had overwhelmed our vessel, with fierce wind and seas passing over us, parting the cable and shattering the framework. In almost every respect we had received considerable injury. In time, the main fury of the storm passed, and while the violent wind persisted, we looked forward to it passing by as well. For in our shattered condition, we should inevitably perish in any subsequent storm. But the wind did not stop. Day turned into night, and back into day, and the wind persisted. The old Swede and I stayed below deck as much as possible and relegated control of our vessel to whatever providence had taken control of our destiny. For 5 entire days and nights, we ate small quantities of jaggery, which we procured with great difficulty from the forecastle. The furious hurricane moved our ship at a rate defying computation, and while the winds were not equaling the initial onset, they were still more terrific than any tempest I had ever encountered before. Our course for the first 4 days was, with trifling variations, south-southeast, and we must have run down the coast of New Holland. But by the 5th day, the cold became extreme, and the wind shifted to a point more to the northward. We moved upon deck, and bundled in blankets and odd bedding, we surveyed the strange landscape around us. The sun arose with a sickly yellow luster and clambered a very few degrees above the horizon, emitting no decisive light. There were no clouds whatever apparent, yet the wind had again increased and blew with a fitful and unsteady fury. About noon, as early as we could guess, our attention was again arrested by the appearance of the sun. It emitted no light, but a dull and sullen glow unaccompanied by any ray. And, almost as quickly as it appeared, it sank again into the depths of the horizon. We waited in vain for the arrival of the 6th day. That day to me has not yet arrived, and to my friend never did arrive. Thenceforward we were enshrouded in a darkness so black we could not have seen an object at 20 paces from the ship. Eternal night continued to envelop us. Even the water had lost the phosphorescence we had been accustomed to in the tropics only a few days before. We also observed that although the tempest continued to rage with unabated violence, there were no longer waves, or surf, or foam, which had previously attended us. Instead, all around us was horror and gloom and a blackness bereft of life. Superstition's terror crept slowly into the spirit of the old Swede, and my own soul was wrapped up in silent wonder. We neglected all care of the ship worse than before, and securing ourselves to the broken stump of mast, looked out bitterly into the vastness of the ocean. We had no means of calculating time, nor could we form any guess of our situation. We were, however, well aware of having made farther to the southward than any previous navigators, and felt extreme amazement at not meeting with the usual impediments of ice. In the meantime, every moment threatened to be our last. Every mountainous billow hurried to overwhelm us. The swell surpassed anything I had imagined possible, and that we were not instantly buried is a miracle. At once, the ship descended at a magnificent rate. My companion spoke of the lightness of our cargo and reminded me of the excellent qualities of our ship, but I could not help feeling utterly hopeless, and prepared myself gloomily for that death which I thought could be upon us within the hour. The ship moved with increased speed, and with every knot the ship made, the swelling of the black stupendous seas became more dismally appalling. At times we gasped for breath, and at times we became dizzy with the velocity of our descent into some watery hell, where the air grew stagnant and no sound disturbed the slumbers of the Kraken. We at last arrived at the bottom of one of these abysses, when a quick scream from my companion broke fearfully upon the night. "See! See!" cried he, shrieking in my ears. "Almighty God! See! See!" As he spoke, I became aware of a dull, sullen glare of light which rolled down the sides of the vast chasm where we lay, and threw a brilliant glow upon our deck. Casting my eyes upward, I beheld a spectacle which froze the current of my blood. At a terrific height, directly above us appeared a gigantic ship of nearly 4,000 tons. Although upreared upon the summit of a wave of more than 1,000,000 times her own altitude, her apparent size still exceeded that of any ship of the line in existence. Her huge hull was of a deep, dingy black, unrelieved by any of the customary carvings of a ship. A single row of brass cannon protruded from her open ports, and dashed off from their polished surfaces the fires of innumerable battle lanterns, which swung to and fro about her rigging. But what mainly inspired us with horror and astonishment was that she bore up under a press of sail in the very teeth of that supernatural sea and of that ungovernable hurricane. When we first discovered her, her stupendous bows were alone to be seen as she rose up like a demon of the deep, slowly from the everlasting gulf beyond her. For a moment of intense terror, she paused upon the giddy pinnacle, as if contemplating her own demise, then pitched forward and tumbled downward toward us. At this instant, I know not what sudden self-possession came over my spirit. Staggering as far aft as I could, I awaited fearlessly the ruin that was to overwhelm us. Our own vessel was at length ceasing from her struggles and sinking with her head to the sea. The shock of the descending mast struck her, consequently in that portion of her frame which was already underwater, and the inevitable result was to hurl me upward with irresistible violence upon the rigging of the other vessel. As I descended from my perch among the rigging, I quietly moved about the ghostly ship, and amidst the confusion, escaped any notice from the crew. I made my way unperceived to the main hatchway, which was partially open, and crept inside. A sense of awe overcame me as I looked upon the navigators of this ship, who moved about the internal compartment. I was unwilling to trust myself with a race of people who had offered, to the cursory glance I had taken, so many points of vague novelty, doubt, and apprehension. I therefore thought proper to contrive a hiding place in the hold. This I did by removing a small portion of the shifting boards in such a manner as to afford me a convenient retreat between the huge timbers of the ship. I had scarcely completed my work when a footstep in the hold forced me to duck inside. A man passed by my hiding place with a feeble and unsteady gait. I could not see his face, but had an opportunity of observing his general appearance. He was old and sickly looking. His body quivered with age. He muttered to himself in a low, broken tone some words of a language which I could not understand. He trudged up the stairs and made his way onto the deck. I considered following him for a moment, but decided at last against it. I never saw him again. A feeling for which I have no name has taken possession of my soul during my time on this ghostly vessel. It has been a very long time since I first trod the deck of this terrible ship, and if the nature of the incomprehensible crew is any indication of the future before me, I should become increasingly clear as to my pending destiny. The crewmen walk about in a meditative state which I cannot understand. They pass by me without a second glance, as if I was not present in any way. I used to hide in their presence, but have determined that it makes no difference, for the crewmates will not see me. It was not more than a moment ago when I passed directly before the eyes of one who I believed to be the first mate, and he paid me no notice whatever. This brings to light a confession. It was not long ago, upon the second or third day of my voyage upon this strange ship, that I ventured into the captain's own private cabin and, well, truthfully, stole the materials with which I write, and have written for some time. I shall from time to time continue this journal. It is true that I may not find an opportunity of transmitting it to the world, but I will not fail to make the endeavor. If my end is at last upon me, and at the last moment of my life I will enclose the manuscript in a bottle and cast it within the sea. I have made many observations lately upon the structure of this vessel, which only recently and by mere chance I learned was called Discovery. What she is not, I can easily perceive. What she is, I fear it is impossible to say. Although she is not well armed, she would seem to be a ship of war. Her huge size and overgrown suits of canvas, her severely simple bow and antiquated stern seemed to be designed of ages long ago. I have also been inspecting the timbers of this ship. She is built of a material unfamiliar to me. There is a peculiar character about the wood which strikes me as rendering it unfit for the purpose to which it has been applied. I mean its extreme porousness, considered independently of the worm-eaten condition which is a consequence of navigation in these seas, and apart from the rottenness attendant upon age. It will appear perhaps an observation somewhat over-curious, but this wood has every characteristic of Spanish oak, swelled by unnatural means. About an hour ago, I decided to boldly thrust myself among a group of the crew. As I had suspected, they paid me no manner of attention, and although I stood in the very midst of them all, seemed utterly unconscious of my presence. Similar to the one I had at first seen in the hold, they all bore about them the marks of a hoary old age. Their knees trembled with infirmity, their shoulders were bent double with decrepitude, their shriveled skins rattled in the wind, their voices were low, tremulous, and broken, their eyes glistened with the rheum of years, and their gray hairs streamed terribly in the tempest. They continued to work, as if in a trance, and the ship, being thrown dead off the wind, has held her terrific course due south. Between the wind, the seas, and the icy conditions, I found it increasingly difficult to maintain a footing on the deck, though the crew seemed to experience little inconvenience. It has dawned on me that I mentioned going into the captain's cabin, but have not mentioned the captain himself. Be it known that while almost never seen on deck, I did see the captain face to face in his own cabin, but as I expected, he paid me no attention. Although in his appearance there was, to a casual observer, nothing which might bespeak him more or less than man, still a feeling of irrepressible reverence and awe mingled with the sensation of wonder with which I regarded him. In stature, he is nearly my own height. That is, I mean about 5 feet 8 inches. He is of a well-knit and compact frame of body, neither robust nor remarkably otherwise. But it is the singularity of the expression which reigns upon the face. It is the intense, the wonderful, the thrilling evidence of old age so utter, so extreme, which strikes upon my soul with the shock of a galvanic battery. His forehead, although little wrinkled, seems to bear upon it the stamp of myriad years. His gray hairs are records of the past, and his grayer eyes are tellers of the future. The cabin floor was thickly strewn with strange iron-clasped folios and moldering instruments of science, and obsolete, long-forgotten charts. His head was bowed down upon his hands, and he pored with a fiery, unquiet eye over a paper which I took to be a commission, and which at all events bore the signature of a monarch. He muttered to himself, as did the first seaman whom I saw in the hold, some low, peevish syllables of a foreign tongue, and although the speaker was close at my elbow, yet his voice seemed to reach my ears from the distance of a mile. The ship and all in it are imbued with the spirit of old age. The crew glide to and fro like the ghosts of buried centuries. Their eyes have an eager and uneasy meaning, and when their figures fall athwart my path, I feel as I never have felt before. When I look around me, I feel ashamed of my former apprehensions. If I trembled at the blast which was hitherto attended us, shall I not stand aghast at a warring of wind and ocean to convey any idea of which the words tornado and simoom are trivial and ineffective? All in the immediate vicinity of the ship is the blackness of eternal night and the chaos of foamless water. But about a league on either side of us may be seen indistinctly and at intervals stupendous ramparts of ice, towering away into the desolate sky and looking like the walls of the universe. As I imagined, the ship proves to be in some sort of a massive current, if that description is enough to detail the howling tide that pushes us southward with such speed by the walls of ice and snow, some of which tower above us at great heights. To conceive the horror of my sensations is, I presume, utterly impossible. Yet a curiosity to penetrate the mysteries of these awful regions predominates even over my despair, and will reconcile me to the most hideous aspects of death. It is evident that we are hurrying onwards to some exciting knowledge, some never-to-be-imparted secret whose attainment is destruction. Perhaps this current leads us to the southern pole itself. It must be confessed that a supposition apparently so wild has every probability in its favor. The crew pace the deck with unquiet and tremulous steps, but there is upon their countenances an expression more of the eagerness of hope than of the apathy of despair. In the meantime, the wind is still at our backs, and as we carry a crowd of canvas, the ship is at times lifted entirely out of the sea. Oh, horror upon horror! The ice opens suddenly to the right and to the left, and we are whirring dizzily in immense concentric circles, round and round the borders of a gigantic amphitheater, the summit of whose walls is lost in the darkness and the distance. But little time will be left me to ponder upon my destiny. The circles rapidly grow small. We are plunging madly within the grasp of the whirlpool, and amid a roaring and bellowing and shrieking of ocean and of tempest, the ship is quivering, oh God, and going down. I moved quickly into the hold, past the oblivious crew, and discovered an empty bottle rattling among the stores. I rolled the manuscript into a tight spill and forced it mightily into the neck of the green glass, secured it with a cork, and as if in a single motion with death less than a single pace behind me, I scaled the steps to the deck and hurled the bottle into the sea. We hope you have enjoyed Markiewicz AudioWorks' presentation of Edgar Allan Poe's Manuscript Found in a Bottle, performed from a script written and adapted for audio by Jason Markiewicz. Music for this production was composed and performed by Hayden Folker. Cover art designed by John Markiewicz. This has been a Markiewicz AudioWorks presentation. Copyright 2024 by Jason Markiewicz. Production copyright by Jason Markiewicz. All rights reserved.
Brava, brava. Thank you, Jason. That was wonderful, wonderful. What
Thank
a
you.
way to start off this Halloween. So you wanted to give us a little bit of your inspiration and how wonderful this was for you. We don't have anyone on chat except for Holly says hi. She's on chat.
All right. Hi, Holly.
Yeah. So, but if you want to share a little bit with us about the manuscript in the bottle, then we will discuss it if you want. But if not, we will continue
Yeah.
with our Halloween.
Well, a few
So-
things. One of them is I think this is the first time I've heard it played from YouTube over a live stream and then hearing it from my phone. So- Okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was weird.
So what I would say is I'm so glad it came through as well as it did. But one thing I did notice is there are a lot of subtones and underlying sounds and some of the resonance in the cabins and some of the things that are being uttered in the background that probably couldn't be heard, through this particular venue. So if it was interesting to you and you want to go back and check it out on YouTube, it's there for free for anyone to listen to. It'll be out to the world on Audible and all kinds of other audiobook places here in the next month. But, it'll always be there on our YouTube channel as well. Make sure that everybody can listen to great works by Poe, and hopefully we can do them all justice.
Perfect. Thank you. It was wonderful. And I did hear some of the nuances in the background, not a lot. You could, the music and the waves and stuff kind of were a little bit louder.
Yeah, they
Then-
came across louder on this platform. When you listen to it on YouTube, or you listen to it like as a, you download it or you play it off of YouTube in your car or something like that, all of the mixing is right. So I don't know if maybe there's an audio or an algorithm or something coming through Zoom or coming through there that amplifies a certain wavelength or something differently. But yeah, I totally agree with you that that's the way it came across on this one. I hope that that's not the way it comes across when you just listen to it directly off YouTube.
Hey,
We worked
it
really
will
hard on
do
sound
fine.
leveling because of that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you're right. I think it goes along with the algorithm they use for commercials for television.
Yeah.
So that might be it, but
Sure.
it didn't put it off. It didn't take away,
No.
in my opinion. The one thing that I love the most about it is I'm on this Bermuda Triangle kick again.
Nice.
So that's all I got was I was listening to the story and I was thinking, oh, this is happening in the Bermuda Triangle. They're going down. But it was wonderful. And to me, it was a great Halloween story because it has all the things, the fear, the animosity, I guess you would say, in certain things. But thank you for sharing. And yes, it did have a little bit of difference, but I hope everyone does check it out on your YouTube channel and download it. And even you have it for purchase, right?
It will be, not right now.
Yeah.
Right now,
Right.
it's available on YouTube. I'm sending it out mass distribution here in
Okay.
a few weeks or so, but
Okay.
it'll always be there on YouTube anyway.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you, Jason. And if no one has any other questions for you, we will continue our Halloween spooktacular for tonight. But first, we're going to take our little trail into the campsite because on Halloween and this time of year, everyone loves to go out into the woods and build a campfire, but you can't have a campfire if you don't have your never s'mores.
Yes.
As
And
Lady Carmina has it held up there, where can you find your never s'mores, Lady
Yes.
Carmina?
so Literary Flower is a local company that creates cookies and some Rice Krispie treats and some little cakes, and they're actually Mask of the Red Death cakes. They're little
Ooh.
skulls. But
Mhm.
she's here locally in the Middle Tennessee area, and she's on Instagram, Literary Flower, and she has several different cookies she does per month. And so this just happens to be a Poe-esque one of Never S'more.
Yes, so
And
if you
it's
like your
very
chocolate and
yummy.
marshmallow, that's if you like cookies, but I'm not a cookie person. Sorry, but okay.
I
That's
am.
okay. Yes. But on with this show. It's time for Lady Janae to conjure her next guest, who
So,
is a storyteller in his own right.
yes, and Madame Janae,
Yes.
I'm feeling kind of like Rhode Island. Is that kind of the feeling you're
course.
getting?
Absolutely. We are going to the Northeast. We are going to the Ocean State. Why it's called the Ocean State, nobody knows because it's about the size of an ant. But okay. Anyway, but ants can carry a lot of weight. So apparently Rhode Island can carry a lot of water. But we're going to be joined by our wonderful tour guide, our Poe guy, our history guy, our wonderful guy, Mr. Levi Leland. So take it away. Woohoo!
Well, thank you guys. I don't think I can follow up with all that now.
You can, you
Um,
can.
but I guess it's a good segue because we just heard that incredibly awesome rendition of Manuscript Found in a Bottle, which heavily involves, oceanic adventure. And now I'm coming to you from the ocean state. So we'll make that connection there. So yeah, for those of you who may not know me, I am the creator of EdgarAllanPoeRI.com, which is kind of the source for all things Edgar Allan Poe in Rhode Island, his time here, his history here, and of course his relationship with Sarah Helen Whitman. And I've been a Poe fan since I was like 12 years old. Like I've been a Poe fan forever. But this whole thing kind of, was the accumulation of the tour. Now it kind of culminated to the tour. Now I've done a walking tour of Poe's Providence for the last 4 years now. It's kind of like my life's passion project. Being a native Rhode Islander, I kind of decided it would be a good idea to link Poe to Rhode Island. So I've been able to share his history here with, so many people, and it's been so amazing, and it's been a good outlet for me to be able to share my interest in Poe. Uh, and so why I'm kind of giving you all that information is because, of course, tonight I'm going to bring you some Sarah Helen Whitman perspective, some Sarah Helen Whitman perspective on Poe, because, of course, she was the reason why he came to Rhode Island for the second time in his life and visited frequently that second time around. And, Sarah Helen Whitman kind of became, one of his most staunchest defenders after his death. She stood up to the plate and really defended his reputation from the slanders that were being published and spoken about him after he died and was unable to defend himself. Now, their romance, of course, ended miserably, but she still, for the next 30 years of her life, relished in her connection to Poe. And, we owe her a lot, because if it wasn't for her, I don't know how much information would have been sorted as neatly as it is today. So she was kind of like one of the first like Poe scholars too, in a lot of ways, which people don't really consider. But so of course she was a poet herself. She was a feminist, a social reformer, and she was a spiritualist, which I'm going to mention a little something about the spiritualism after I share this poem. But her poetry was heavily influenced by her relationship with Poe, of course. Like a large section of it, was influenced by her relationship with Poe. And so I'm going to share with you a poem that she had written about a month after he died. So keep that in mind while I read it. It's called The Phantom Voice. Through the solemn hush of midnight, how sadly on my ear falls the echo of a harp whose tones I never more may hear. A wild, unearthly melody whose monotone doth move the saddest, sweetest cadences of sorrow and of love, till the burden of remembrance weighs like lead upon my heart, and the shadow on my soul that sleeps will never more depart. The ghastly moonlight gliding like a phantom through the gloom, how it fills with solemn fantasies my solitary room. And the sighing winds of autumn, ah, how sadly they repeat that low, bewildering melody, so mystically sweet. I hear it softly murmuring at midnight o'er a hill, or across the wide savannas when all beside is still. I hear it in the moaning of the melancholy main, in the rushing of the night wind, the rhythm of the rain. E'en the wild flowers of the forest, waving sadly to and fro, but whisper to my boding heart, burden of its woe. And the spectral moon, now paling and fading, seems to say, I leave thee to remembrances that will not pass away. Ah, through all the solemn midnight, how mournful 'tis to hark to the voices of the silence, to the whisper of the dark. In vain I turn some solace from the distant stars to crave. They are shining on thy sepulchre, are smiling on thy grave. How I weary of their splendor. All night long they seem to say, we are lonely, sad and lonely, far away, far, far away. Thus through all the solemn midnight, that phantom voice I hear, as it echoes through the silence, when no earthly sound is near. And though dawnlight yields to noonlight, and though darkness turns to day, they but leave me to remembrances that will not pass away. And so that's Sarah Helen Whitman's The Phantom Voice. And now I love that in a lot of her poetry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All credit goes to Sarah Helen Whitman. I just think it's amazing. Her poetry just embodies a lot of Poe's, themes and Poe's words in a lot of ways. She pulls that inspiration from Poe, but she's writing her own perspective, having been in a pretty heavy relationship with him. So that's just a good example of how she does kind of cherish the remembrances that she had of him, having lost him so shortly after the relationship. Um, and I urge people to look her up a little bit more, and especially if you're a Poe fan, you'll really appreciate her work and her perspective. But before I move it on to the next person, I will share one little interesting story that just happened to me a few weeks ago. So I finally was able to get inside of her house at 88 Benefit Street. So, and this was the house that, of course, saw her romance with Poe. There are some anecdotes even that she has recalling Poe inside the house and some of his behavior. And in fact, the famous Ultima Thule daguerreotype that was taken of Poe, she has this whole anecdote about him going to her house and just being in this really frantic state where he was, you know, the tones of his voice were so appalling and they rang through the house. And when he finally saw her, he grabbed onto her and clung to her so frantically that he tore away a piece of the dress that she was wearing. So, you know, there are a lot of anecdotes about Poe and Whitman inside this house. And so finally I got to go inside. And so I was with one of the tenants and she had came on my tour about a week or two prior and introduced herself and was like, hey, I live inside. I'd love for you to come over and visit and you can appreciate the space. And I was like, yes, please. So, you know, really nice, really gentle, quiet woman. And we, you know, she was kind of giving me a little tour. And as we were standing in an upstairs room, the door to the room was about, you know, a third of the way ajar. And, you know, we were chatting and, you know, I was telling her a little bit about Sarah Helen Whitman and kind of some of the anecdotes I knew of the house. And I was mentioning Sarah Helen Whitman's spiritualism and how she was such a proponent of that movement. And she considered herself a medium. She attended seances, but she also hosted them in Providence. And she actually hosted one inside of that house. And just as I was telling the woman about this, the door that was a third of the way open slammed shut. And now I'm not superstitious. You know, I do believe in that kind of spiritual energy and kind of other things that are kind of lurking around us here on earth. And, you know, I don't discredit it. I don't discount it, but I don't go looking for these things. I don't go looking for these stories, you know? And so I'm like the last person to like have a ghost story, but this was like unexplained. It was like a chilly day in late September and, you know, there were no windows open. There were no drafts, nothing. And this door, we were standing, you know, feet away from it. And as I was talking about the spiritualism, it just slammed shut out of nowhere. And it had been open, you know, for 5-10 minutes as we were talking. So I can't explain it, but this was really interesting. I kind of want to say maybe it was like a message from Sarah Helen Whitman, maybe possibly. Maybe Poe is back in the Whitman house to, you know, give me a shout out. I don't know, but really cool stuff. And you know, I just appreciate everybody's time tonight. And I hope, you know, you learned a little bit about Sarah Helen Whitman and Edgar Allan Poe and the Ocean State too. The Ocean State, tiniest little state.
Yeah, Levi,
And-
thank you so much for sharing that story. And I'm so excited you finally got to go in the house. That is
Yeah.
exciting.
It was really cool. I know we were talking about it when you took my tour like 2 years ago. We were like
Yeah.
going inside, and yeah, I never had been able to make that connection until a few weeks ago. So finally, I got to go inside, and it was cool. You could feel the energy, you know, especially when you appreciate the history and you have
Mhm.
studied it and learned it and have talked about it for so long. When you're finally inside that space, especially the space that Poe is in, you know, you can feel it. There's an energy in there, you know. I'm not saying he haunts the house. I'm not saying Sarah Helen Whitman haunts the house, but you know, it's an energy. It's kind of unexplainable, but yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Definitely. And
Yeah.
you did it legally, so that's great.
yeah, right. I didn't have to break in, you know. I've done enough, you know, loitering outside the house, which I'm glad I haven't been, you know, arrested for. So,
Post stalkers, it fits with Halloween, but
right,
it's
right,
always
yeah,
good when it works out. Now,
yes,
Poe may be stalking you in the house when you were there, but he could have just been saying hello.
right, right, yeah.
You never know. But
We
thank
don't
you,
know.
Levi.
Yeah, of
We
course.
we
Thank
enjoy you
you.
being here. On your
Thank you, guys.
anthill of Rhode Island.
On the anthill, yep.
Yes. And before we do move on to our next guest, we also wanted to share, there is, if my, this will, work nicely with my screen, More
a little
Than
bit.
Love, and there is, and they're essays, correct, Levi?
Yes, yeah. Yep,
And-
all kind of reflective essays.
I was gonna say,
Nice.
if you wanna tell. you
Oh,
can
yeah, sorry,
tell
okay.
more than I can.
Yeah,
But I
so
just
this was,
wanted to say that Levi is in this book, and I haven't read it yet, but I cannot wait to read it. But yeah, Levi, if you want to just tell.
This is your plug time. Go.
Yeah.
yeah, right, this is my plug. Yeah, so Amy Armario was the editor of that book. She's a devoted Poe scholar. She was past president of the Poe Studies Association. This was kind of her, one of her big projects. And yeah, she compiled a pretty good group of just Poe people, of all different varieties, teachers, tour guides, authors, poets, singers, just anyone that has been influenced by Poe in some way. And I was one of the lucky ones to be picked for my tour. Amy she had came on my tour a few years ago when the Poe Studies Association came to Providence, and she enjoyed it. I got to talk to her about it, and she was enthralled by it. So yeah, she had asked me to contribute an essay, and yeah, pretty much it's just all essays based on Poe's people's different introductions to Poe and how Poe has inspired their lives, whether their professional lives, their artistic lives, anything. So I got to really like sit down and kind of hash out my whole life story in terms of Poe and how it kind of grew into the tour, and just it was really cool. So and there are so many great essays in there too, not just mine, but yeah, I encourage people to pick it up. It's a different kind of read. Like, you learn about Poe because you're hearing all these people's perspectives on Poe and how they were influenced by him, and so you learn a little bit about Poe, but you learn about these people, and I think it will resonate with a lot of readers, because especially if they're really diehard fans of Poe, because they'll be like, oh yeah, like that's how I was introduced to Poe, and oh yeah, that's they'll get it. It's a really cool compilation. So yeah, it's on Amazon. If you just look up the title, you can get it there, and it's relatively cheap. It's like $25, so it's like the standard price for like a book. So
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
thank you.
And what was the name again?
It is.
The Enduring More Than Love, The Enduring Fascination with Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Amy Armario.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Yay.
Yes.
Yes. So more Poe for all the Poe people.
More
Yeah.
Poe
You
for
know.
the show.
More
Yeah.
Poe. I love it.
Well, that can have different meanings, but all right.
Yes.
We are on a Poe
today.
show. It's a Halloween. And now on to the conjuring of the next guest. Lady Carmina, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Well, what is your crystal ball telling you? What kind of
Well,
feeling are you getting?
it's coming to me. She's got pink hair. She's wearing some kind of band on her head. Can't tell if they're ears or they're tents. I'm not sure which one, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna move down the coast from Rhode Island down to our next great state where Mr. Poe himself spent some time.
Mhm.
So it's going to be Miss Virginia Poe is
Yes.
joining us tonight. So Virginia, what would you like to share for the crystal ball in the Halloween? Take it away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there we go. I'm
Yeah.
unmuted.
There we go. I was like, don't make me read lips right now. No. Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna make you work for it, Jamie.
Of course. That's okay.
Madam Genet. So often, as our original format was for Beyond the On Blog Box, we would do something about Poe, and I would cover something historical of the Victorian era. The truth or the customs behind certain things. Sorry, you all. I was handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. So I am actually dressed as a character named Kuromi. She is a Sanrio character,
Fun.
Japanese. So there, yeah, yeah. She's a rabbit. These are her bunny ears inside of a jester's cap.
Cute.
So
Oh, that's cute.
that's what that is, Jeannie. So you know.
Okay, that makes
Um,
more sense now, but okay.
So
Saying. They can
So
be
be-
they can be big big tents for circus there. So okay.
they could for ants. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Halloween itself. Obviously, we know that Halloween or Samhain comes from Ireland, and it is quite old, very, very old, much older than this country. However, what we know as Halloween here in the United States really didn't start to really form in traditions until about the mid 1800s. So unfortunately, in Eddie's time, they probably didn't do nearly quite as much of celebration as we see now. So it was around like the 1850s that we're going to start seeing gatherings and soirees, kids and adults alike dressing up in costumes, usually in the areas where you had more Irish immigrants, even Scottish immigrants. And one of the big customs, one of the big traditions when they started having like larger soirees, the whole bobbing for apples, that often was done as a way for a young woman to find out who her potential suitor might be, who she might be marrying. They would mark apples and put them inside of the big vat. And if a gentleman could actually get it with his teeth, and if it was the right person, they knew that that person really wanted to be with that lady. So that was kind of what that was for, which is, you know, a little interesting. Don't know if I'd want to do that. May not get who I want. There was also things like burning nuts in the fire. And also back to the spiritualism thing, they would often have mirror divination at these soirees and parties. In the early 1900s, now as we move forward, we're moving forward in time from the 1800s. Oftentimes in the 1800s, late 1800s, the costumes were much like in Ireland, where they were dressing kind of ghoulishly to scare away evil spirits. But as we get into the early 20th century, so to speak, in the early 1900s, we started to see things like tricks happening. Things like livestock and wagons being left on top of barns, sections of fence posts just missing, tipping over of outhouses. That's always a fun one. In the mid 1910s, so like 1915 to 1920-ish, a little more than that, that's where the masquerade balls started to become a really like big thing. It was a way of a community to gather basically before the winter to have big celebration and party. And they would often have costume contests, and they would have prizes that local merchants would give out. And people would spend months working on these costumes to win these prizes. And then we're moving into the 1930s. In the 1930s, that's when we start to see the parades form, Halloween parades. And also mass-produced costumes started to become more of a thing. In the 1930s, you would see mass-produced costumes of people like Charlie Chaplin, Little Orphan Annie, and Mickey Mouse. So also in the 1930s, stick lanterns were a big thing. They were usually made of a lightweight metal or tin, and they would contain an actual candle that would burn they were mostly used in nighttime parades so that people could still see, and you would have your jack-o'-lantern lit. And then we go to around 1935 is when we start seeing things like haunted houses and corn mazes pop up. Of course, as we get with Halloween, of course, trick and treat. Unfortunately, vandalism, pranking would happen. People started to become a little bit more afraid of letting their children just run around by themselves at night. So they started having these haunted houses where people could actually go through in groups, and it was deemed more safe. Same with the corn mazes. And then we move past World War II. We're going to get into the 1950s. And this is where Halloween starts to become more centered on children, like where it becomes more a thing that kids do, not so much adults, which kind of became a thing for a while. And again, more and more mass-produced costumes, more characters, the Lone Ranger, princesses, clowns, Batman and Robin even, so you're seeing more of, more commercialized characters. Also too, it was around this time the candy companies were having their biggest sales of the year, far surpassing Christmas, surpassing Valentine's Day even, like through the roof. So that became the 50s is when we started to really see that uptick in like candy production and candy sales and, the marketing ploys and, all that kind of fun jazz happening with the candy. 1960s. That is the first time that we see TPing. So while TPing someone's home or their yard of trees and shrubs didn't really cause damage per se, if it was done properly, it sure was one heck of a mess to clean up, especially if you had rain. Yeah, that's pretty gross. I've had that happen before. It was not fun. I just let winter and the rain take care of it, and I said, forget it, I'm not even trying. And then when we get to around 1970, 1980, that's when we start to see this return of adults embracing Halloween. And of course, we get the plastic throwaway kind of costumes. I'm sure Carmen and Janae and Jason, I'm sure you probably remember those with the horrible masks. Levi, I do believe that you didn't have to get any of those. They were atrocious, let me tell you.
I still smell it.
Oh God, me too. Ew. For those who don't know what we are talking about, in the 70s and in the 80s, we had these costumes that were literally thin plastic. Think of like a doctor's gown, or no, like a hospital gown. They tied in the back. It was printed on the front. They were usually short sleeved, and they usually came with this mask that smelled awful, awful. Yes. And it was such a thin plastic, and if you weren't careful, you could cut yourself on them because they were so sharp. Yes. Jason's like, yes, they're terrible, but they were all the rage, and parents loved them because, well, if it ripped or if it got something on it or if it got wet, you threw it away. And then of course we have horror movies, and well, things have just gotten like, more and more and more. And the haunted house industry became insanely like through the roof come the 90s. And of course, tonight I handed out candy to kids as young as 1 year old. Oh, so cute. First Halloween. Oh, so adorable. And I had adults that were, well, my age and older, that walked up to me in costume with bags and said, trick or treat. And I said, yes, you are getting candy. And I gave it to them. So there we go. Halloween
Good.
as we know it in the
Yep.
United States.
Woohoo! Halloween from way back when has definitely changed. It
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
does
for sure.
not have its, you know, I don't even think anybody bobs for apples anymore. But it's very interesting. It brings up that
Yeah.
bobbing for apples is supposed to get you a mate or something, or
Yeah.
I'm
Crazy,
like,
those well, because if you think about it, a lot of the balls that were like the big lavish parties, you would have
yeah.
your debutantes and your available young bachelors, and you
Mhm.
know, it's not like they could just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey baby, want to go on a date?" You know, that was not appropriate, you know, so
Yeah.
you would do things like that, you know. But
Well,
I thought it
they
was
should have.
really cool they would mark the apples
Yeah, well, they
so
should
you
have stuck with
knew.
the mountain type of what we did. We'd take the apples and beat them people in the head and just drag them off. But it works for us. Why waste, putting numbers on apples or bobbing or anything? Just, and if they're good and
Chuck an
rotten
apple.
enough, man, can they do some damage?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Jason added, he says, I still smell the inside of that plastic bag.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
I'm sorry if I just some forgotten
I mean,
childhood trauma.
I think it's why I have a problem with having any kind of mask over my face, like oxygen mask or anything. So I
Yeah.
can throw back to those days, and because
Yeah, sorry, guys.
breathing in it, the holes were like the size of a pinhole.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
And
could get
so
a
all you're
pencil.
breathing is carbon monoxide, and you're killing yourself, and you have to hold it out because it gets so hot. So I
Usually
think
no
that's
slit
why
in the mouth
most
either. That was
our
the
age
weird thing.
people
Like no
have
slit
such
in the
great
mouth.
skin.
Two little holes for the nose. Yeah. And most
we were
kids would wear them on their head.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We were giving ourselves steam massages and steam baths, and that's why our skin is so great because it's so great. But anyway, thank you, Virginia, for the
Yes,
You're welcome.
wonderful
that was awesome. That was
history of
great.
Halloween.
You're
Not
welcome.
many people may have known a lot about the Halloween,
Yes.
but hey, Halloween, it's like Christmas, and you brought up Valentine's Day and candy. But I think, I think the 1950s was more about the kids because of the baby boom after World War II. And I think
Yeah.
that's where it kind of, jumped from there. And don't forget Superman, because remember, Superman came out before Batman. So
True. That's true.
I had to throw that in there. Sorry. But
Yeah.
anyway, so but thank you, Virginia. Now
Thank
our
you.
next guest, Lady Carmina, is going to do another little plug commercial for us for one of our favorite people who is on chat with us, but is not feeling
Yes.
well. But Holly, we hope you feel better soon.
Yes.
But Lady Carmina, take it away.
Okay. So Holly has a book called, let's see, hold on.
Tina.
Sure. Okay. It is called Eye of Athena, and this is a new cover for her. And I've read it. It's amazing. And what's really cool is that the school book club at my high school read this book for this month. And today they got to meet Holly over Zoom. And she did a talk with them, answered questions, encouraged them to be writers. And I got to dress up as Mr. Poe today, and I recited El Dorado for them. And so it was so much fun. We had Poe cupcakes, and it was amazing. But I'm going to read the little synopsis about Eye of Athena. If you haven't read it, you need to, because Poe is a character in the book. So it's the Telltale Heart meets American Psycho. Kenneth Dahl returns to his once familiar home after being confined to a psychiatric hospital, but he's not alone. The dead whisper secrets to him that only he can hear. When the voices materialize as a ghostly phantom, Ken's new life is threatened. Ken tiptoes on the razor's edge between sanity and madness as he searches for answers in his past. A forbidden communion with a mercury mirror forces him to confront a chilling truth. He might be evil. Each glance and every whisper fuels his paranoia. Can Ken distinguish friend from foe, reality from illusion, before he kills again? Eye of Athena is a Gothic novel inspired by the works of Edgar Allan Poe, in which Edgar Allan Poe is a character. It's the perfect book for readers who enjoy supernatural suspense and twists in a historical setting. By Eye of Athena and enter a world of presumed insanity, phantom voices, and a world unseen by most. So thank you, Holly, for writing this book, and you may purchase it on Amazon.
Woo woo. Yes, it is. It is a very disturbing. I think is one of the adjectives that a reviewer had used, but it is wonderful. If you are a Poe fan, if you are a horror fan, if you are just a fan of the macabre, you will enjoy The Eye of Athena. But now we are going to move on. We are going to move on into the world of the magic.
Is that
Oh,
what
the
the crystal
wonderful-
ball is saying?
The crystal ball is coming to life, and it is thinking that, ooh, we need to conjure a magician. We need to see what may be. So Micah, the magician, is going to wow us with his wonderful world of magic. Micah, take it away.
Wow. Thank you so much, Madame Genet. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, it's very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
and Lady Carmina. Yes, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
And guys, it is such an honor. First of all, give it up for Lady Carmina and Madame Genet for making this happen, and of course, Virginia and Jason and Levi for being such great presenters. Yes, I Bieber you as well, Virginia. I Bieber you as well. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. And I'm trying to see if I can get on speaker view. I see a wonderful, I see Lady Carmina there, but oh, look at me. Holy crap, I'm huge. Okay, look at that. Look at the size of my noggin. All right. So thank you so much for letting me be here. And I'm going to be with you guys for the next, like 45 minutes. Thank you for giving me such a long set. So please, I want to thank you ahead of time for your patience. And I will need volunteers. My stuff is very interactive, but I will be choosing with consent Lady Carmina and Madame Genet as often as possible. And keep in mind, guys, this is magic. This is literally an experiment. Some of the stuff that I'll be doing for you tonight, I've never done before. This is true. So keep in mind, if it works, it's magic. Yeah. If it doesn't work, it's performance art. So either way, it's a win-win, and you can still deduct it on your taxes. So you're welcome. No. Thank you, Virginia. All right. So I'm going to see if I can change my camera on my Commodore 64. Yes, there it is. Hooray. Okay, so Madame this is literally my bag full of Poe magic. I don't know if you can see the tone. Yeah, and I know the lighting's a little funky, but there's a raven. Yeah, exactly. And I have all this stuff that I prepared for you. So Madame Genet, would you mind kicking us off and helping us with something?
Absolutely. I'm here for your
Thank you so much. And that voice isn't creepy at all. That's not freaking me out in the least. So thank you. All right.
You're welcome.
So Madame Genet, you are familiar with the purloined letter, yeah?
Yes. It's been a while since I've read it, but I am familiar.
Of course, yes.
And so letters.
Oh, okay. Not clear what that means, but it sounds fascinating. That might be the subject of our next lecture. Story for another day. Fair enough. Yes. All right. So I have 5 envelopes, and there's only one letter in them. I have 5 cards, and each card will represent one of the letters. So these cards are in no particular order. You don't have to take my word for it, though. Oh, no, you're going to help me mix it up. Madame Genet, just say stop whenever you wish.
Stop.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, stop.
Beautiful.
That one.
Now, from these five cards, I have a card in my left and a card in my right. We're going to start narrowing things down. Madame Genet, just say left or right.
Left.
Left. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Madame Genet, just say stop as you did before.
Stop.
Okay, I've got one in my left, one in my right. Say left or right.
Right.
Ooh, switching it up. I like the way you think. Madame Genet, we're narrowing things down. Say stop.
Stop.
Excellent. I got one in my left, one in my right. Which one?
Left.
Left. Okay. And now we're down to two. And Madame Genet, I want to really slow this down. I want to be deliberate about this. If you were here, like we were in a seance, I would ask you to hover your hand over one of these remaining cards. This is my left and this is my right. Madame Genet, which card would you hover your hand over if you were here? Say left or right?
Right.
Okay, so you're hovering your hand over this one, if I understand you correctly.
Yes.
Beautiful. So if you were here, I would just ask you to rest your hand upon that card. And now we are down to the very last one that you chose. Now, Madame Genet, you may have guessed there's something on the other side of these cards. Can I show you?
Yes.
Excellent. We have a 3, we have a 2, we have a 1, and we have a 4. And these envelopes that were waiting in full view from the beginning, they actually are enumerated. Oh, we've spared no expense. Oh, my goodness. And number 1, yes, and you did eliminate 1, and sure enough, this is empty. Oh, okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, you did eliminate 2. Let's take, yes, and there's envelope number 2. And it is indeed empty. Yes, yes. And I'm sure I'm sure they had this post-ready logo during Edgar Allan Poe's era. I'm sure this is all very period. Yes. Okay, so that was 1, that was 2. You also eliminated 3, and there's 3. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, it is empty. Yes. You also eliminated 4. Let's take a look at 4. Oh, it's also empty. And as you know, as part of the plot, the purloined letter was actually in view the whole time. You know what I mean, Madame Genet?
Yes, I do.
As was this envelope. And the final one that you rested your hand on, and again, you would have done that yourself if you could have been here, was number 5. And sure enough, this is envelope number 5, and it is the only one with a letter. Give Madame Genet a big round of applause. Beautiful.
Yay!
Yes. Yes, well done.
I got the letter.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten to the finale yet, Madame Genet. I don't want to do the victory lap just yet, because if this really were for you, if you really did find it, and you did, this should be for you. And this is Halloween. We're celebrating Edgar Allan Poe. What would be the scariest letter you could receive, Madame Genet? Do you have any guesses?
The scariest letter, as in an alphabetical letter or a written letter? Like somebody wrote me a letter, or the letter in the alphabet?
Wow, okay. No one's ever asked me that before. You know, I find the letter Q to be very disturbing, and then someone called me racist, so I don't bring that up anymore. No one's ever asked me that. There's a letter right in front of you, Madame Genet. We're going to fix that in post, Lady Carmina. I'll answer it for you. This is the scariest thing that you could have found. It is some words with a mummy, Madame.
Oh,
words with a mummy.
Not those words. Not those words.
Not those words. Yes, and it says your name. Yes. Oh, yeah. So fun fact, I didn't get the memo that you guys were changing your names today.
That's okay.
Yeah, it
That's
says,
all right.
Yeah, it says Jeannie. It would have been so much spookier if it had said Madame Genet. And I was trying to consult the spirits for tonight's show, and I said, well, I got to do a prediction on the scariest letter ever, words with a mummy. What should I write down? And the spirits told me, they said, oh, I see an M and a J. And I said, Michael Jordan. And they're like, no, an M and a J. And I was like, Michael Jackson. No, an M and a J. And I was like, marijuana. So anyway, there's no way I was gonna get that right. The spirits got it. They scored. They nailed it. I totally blew it. But hopefully, Madame Genet, you were still appropriately spooked.
Exactly, I
Yeah.
am. It's
Exactly.
that story will spook me from now to eternity.
Yes, yes. And so your doom is sealed. You're welcome. That's
Thank
so
you. Thank you,
thematic.
Micah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Oh no,
much.
thank you. All right, so Carmen, here we go. Oh, we're back. We're back. Oh, we've spared no expense. We're back on the other camera. Let's see. Lady Carmina, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, and I love how Zoom meetings are exactly like seances. You guys have heard this joke. Lady Carmina, can you hear me? We're here. Can you hear me? Are you with us? Yeah. It's seances. You're welcome. So, Lady Carmina, we have all these things to play with in the time that we have left. Oh, and you know what? This I am going to keep for the finale. But is there are there any of these that you might like to look at? We have some torn photos. We have a deck of cards with a prediction. We have a pouch with something inside. What would you like to look at, Lady
Maybe
Carmina?
the torn, you said torn cards or picture?
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I don't remember what I said because I'm so jacked up on Celsius and Red Bull. But you're right. These are torn. This is a torn photo, and you said you'd like to see this next.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so this is true. The reason why it's torn is because I got so frustrated with it because people see something in this photo that I can't. And Lady Carmina, I would like to see if you can see it. Would you like to try this experiment with me?
Sure. Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so some of you might. Oh, and I'm going to do this one piece at a time,
Okay.
and you'll see why. You'll see why in a minute. Some of you, this is kind of an iconic picture, although you may have noticed that sometimes it does have different faces in it. And again, some people have seen a face that I've never been able to see, but Lady Carmina, maybe you can. And I got so frustrated with it that everybody could see it but me that I did tear it up. Now, the good news is I didn't cut through, literally tear through the faces. I did tear through some of the hands, but you might even be able to see some of the faces on my camera. I'm going to try to bring this up to the lens. This might be the profile of Harry Houdini, who, of course, not only attended a bunch of seances, but he himself was influenced by Edgar Allan Poe. In fact, his very famous premature burial was inspired by the Edgar Allan Poe story. And it was one of the only escapes that genuinely scared Harry Houdini, according to his autobiography. This is H.P. Lovecraft, the heir apparent to our friend Edgar Allan Poe. They think this is Madame Blavatsky, one of the spiritualist mediums that Harry Houdini spent time debunking. Here's another one. They think this is Jean Leckie, the second wife of Arthur Conan Doyle, who herself was a medium. And of course, Arthur Conan Doyle, he admitted he stole from Edgar Allan Poe. And you can imagine that they're all sitting at this table. Some of the hands are torn up, but you get the idea. Carmen, Lady Carmina.
It's all
I
right.
forgot we're Italian. I should be doing this more in frame. I should be doing more of the Lady Carmina. All right, so yeah, that doesn't sound like Super Mario Kart in the least. Oh no, my friends. Oh no. All right, so Lady Carmina, you are going to help me create a pile, and you see I'm creating a pile here, some of the hands, some of the faces. And you tell me, what do I put on the next pile? Do you want a hand or a face? How do you feel?
Let's do a hand.
Okay, and I'm just going to arbitrarily pick a hand, and if you need me to switch hands, I can. Is that cool?
That one's good. That one's good.
Beautiful. And what do you want me to do next?
Let's put Lovecraft next.
Well, I love it, literally. And what do you want me to do next?
Let's see. Let's do another hand.
Another hand? Is the middle one okay?
The middle one, that's actually the one I was thinking.
Beautiful. Okay, we're in sync.
Right.
And what do you want me to do next?
Let's see. Just because I'm a sequence kind of person, let's do, I think you said her name was Jane on the end.
Oh, they think it's Jean
Okay.
Leckie, but
Okay.
Jane was very close. You have a good
Okay.
memory. Okay,
Okay.
and what do you want me to do next?
And then let's see, left hands.
Okay, oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you want me to do next?
And then was it Madame Blotsky? Is that what you said?
Blavatsky, you have a surprisingly good memory. It took me years to say that, and I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, Madame Blavatsky.
Yeah, so her
Yeah.
next, then the hands, and then the Houdini.
The hands,
How possible
and
Houdini.
then beautiful. Okay, so
All
we're gonna randomize things even further. I'm creating 2 piles. Now, my left pile, I just started with 2. My right pile, I started with 1. So you tell me 1 or 2, Lady Carmina.
1.
1, okay. And how many pieces do you want me to deal onto pile 1?
1.
Okay. And then say 1 or 2.
2.
And how many pieces do you want me to deal onto that?
1.
Okay. And 1 or 2?
Let's see. 2.
2. And how many pieces?
2.
Okay. 1, oops, 1, 2. And say 1 or 2.
1.
1, okay. And how many pieces?
We'll do 2.
We'll do 2. And I have 1 piece left. Where do you want it to go?
On 2.
On 2, okay. And we're going to narrow things down, and you'll see why in a second. So, Lady Carmina, say 1 or 2.
1.
1. Okay, so watch this. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna narrow things down. We're gonna create 1 pile, but we're gonna put it on top of 1 so that you can see the bottom piece on pile 1. So, Lady Carmina, I am gonna look away. You're just gonna have to take my word for it because I know my eyes are off frame, but it doesn't really matter because a little later on, you're gonna tell me what you see, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna lift this up, and again, you're gonna have to talk me through it because I am genuinely not looking. Lady Carmina, do you see a piece underneath my fingertips here?
Yes.
Excellent. Now, I have no clue what you're looking at because you randomize things so well. So just say yes or no. Is this a face?
No.
Okay, so tell you what, I'm going to what they call burn this as they would in the casinos, but I'm going to bring it up on top so you can see the next face. Now, Lady Carmina, don't tell me what it is. Just say yes or no. Do you see a face?
Yes.
All right. And don't tell me what it is. Just say yes or no. Can you remember this person?
Yes.
Beautiful. So now I'm going to turn things down. So when I look back, I can't see what you chose. And my friends, give Lady Carmina a big round of applause. Yes. Very nice. So Lady Carmina, once again, you looked at the bottom piece and you told me that it was a hand. So I burned it. And then you saw another one.
Mhm.
And you said that you could remember that face if you saw it again. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so here we go. This will be the end of our little experiment. I'm going to bring the pieces back. Now, this became a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and I'm a little frustrated with myself that I tore them in the first place. If you were here, Lady Carmina, you would actually put these back yourself. I don't expect you to remember where everything went, but as I start putting the puzzle pieces together, it might start looking familiar.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we have the piece that you selected. And there's one, and there should be, yes. Oh, and there's our friend, H.P. Lovecraft.
Mhm.
And as you can see, Lady Carmina, this fits. This is the piece that you chose. And if I were to flip it side over edge, it would fit even better. This
Mhm.
is the one that you selected. So let's just talk about what happened. Lady Carmina, you created a pile. Well, you told me how to, you created a pile. And then from that pile, you created 2 piles. And from those 2 piles, you created 1. And then you looked at the randomly selected piece. I believe you said it was hand, so we burned it. You looked at the next one. Lady Carmina, there was no way that you could have known that you would make all those choices ahead of time. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Right. Nobody could have. So everything was random, and this was the piece that you chose. Lady Carmina, okay, here it comes. I have to ask, whom did you see on this piece?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, no kidding. Really?
Yes.
All right, here's what ticks me off, Lady Carmina. There's There's literally no one there. And I've never been able to find him or see him. But you saw Edgar Allan Poe, is that correct?
That is correct.
There's literally no one there. And yet she saw Edgar Allan Poe. Give Lady Carmina a big round of applause. Yes. Yeah, thank you. I think I can't tell if Virginia's excited. I wasn't sure if she was yawning, but yes, that's pretty wild. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lady Virginia. Yes. That's really and so you really saw Edgar Allan Poe, didn't you, Lady Carmina?
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
That is
he's gone
freaking me
again.
out. He's gone again. Yes, I call it disappearance because I need people to groan as much as possible. All right, I need I need a volunteer, a brave person, and the good news is you will be in control. Is anybody brave enough to help me? Nobody. Okay. Madame Genet, you are
Hey,
up.
I raised my
Madame
hand.
Genet, do you have
Oh,
a
wait a
moment?
minute. Jason,
Wait.
Jason volunteered. Jason volunteered.
Jason volunteered, and then okay, and then he put himself back on mute. That was that's what we call mixed messages. I thought we were on a Tinder date for a second. But Jason, will you help me, sir?
Well, of course.
Yes, and guys, my friends, give it up for the JM. Oh, another MJ. Oh, the spirits were correct. Yes. Oh, okay. Marijuana backwards. So you basically get your brain cells back. Jason, that makes a lot of sense. That explains your career.
Okay.
You're a very smart man. Yeah, all right. Jason, first of all, thank you so much for volunteering, my friend. And we can either check out Professor Moriarty's mathematical prediction, or we can go to Vegas. How do you feel, Jason?
Oh, well, I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, but I lived in Vegas for a while, so let's do Vegas.
Let's do Vegas. All right. Okay, we're going to do Vegas. Okay. Jason, here we go. We're going to Vegas, my friend. I have in my hot little hands a deck of cards, and they are in no particular order. Oh no, say the windshield wiper fingers of mystery. Oh no, Jason. No, but you don't have to take my word for it. Oh no, once again, say the windshield wiper fingers of mystery. That's correct. So, my friend, I'm just going to keep shuffling till you say stop.
I'm going to go grab something to eat. I'll be back in a little bit.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
All right, stop.
Okay, takes a long time for him to say stop. Fun on dates. Get his digits, ladies. Get his digits. Thank you, Jason. All right, so Jason, we're going to do everything in fives, and you'll see why a little later when we get to the finale. So I just I took the shuffle deck that you were in charge of when you were done, on your potty break, and you came back. And these are 5 piles. But do you want me to rearrange any of the cards of any of the piles, or are you happy where I cut? It's up to you, sir.
Go ahead and flip the top 2.
Flip the top. So do you mean like this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you meant. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Okay, good. All right. So check this out, Jason. I'm going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which pile should we use, Jason?
3.
3. So 1, 2, 3. Just to be clear, this is the one that you were referring to?
Correct.
Excellent. All right, let's get rid of get rid of these. All right, we're going to Vegas, Jason. I'm going to give you some choices, and you just tell me how you feel. Are you ready, Jason?
Yep.
All right. Black, even, or get rid of it. How do you feel?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Black what?
Yeah, black, comma, even, comma. Yeah, I am using the Oxford comma.
Good.
Black, comma, even, comma, or get that got applause. Black, comma, even, comma, or get rid of it.
Black.
Ooh, the man says black. So watch this. We have a black chip, and that's going under the black chip. Does that make sense, Jason? Because you said black out of those choices. Beautiful. All right. I'm feeling frisky on this next one. Red, even, get rid of it, or Poe?
Even.
Even, yeah, post sucks. I'm glad you said even instead. Let's see. All right, we'll go here. Okay, even. And red, even, get rid of it, or half.
Red.
Red, okay. Here comes the red. Red, royal, get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Ah, yeah, this card stinks. All right, there's GROI for get rid of it. Once again, we've spared no expense for you, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy sharp.
Get rid of it. Yeah, these are evil letters. I think Madame Genet would say, "Oh, those letters are so evil because we got rid of it." GROI. All right, black.
Can't
even,
spell
get rid
Igor
of it.
without it.
It's touche. Well said, Jason. Yes. All right, Jason. Jason, this one, black, even, get rid of it.
Black.
Black. Okay. So here's the black chip, and we put it over there. This card, let's mix it up. Black, odd, or get rid of it.
Odd.
Yeah, the man says. So I'm going to put it under the odd chip. Odd, black, get rid of it, or match.
Match.
Ooh, the man says match. Now, Jason, just keep me honest. This was the most recent card that you played. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so the next one you said match. So I'm going to put a match chip on here, but we're just going to remember that that was immediately after this one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Beautiful. This next card, get rid of it, or I don't know.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right. Black, even, or get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right. Black, highest, like the highest card, or get rid of it.
Black.
Ooh, okay, the man says black. This card, black, even, get rid of it.
Even.
Even. Okay. Ooh, we only have a few left, Jason. Can you feel the tension, Jason? Can you feel the tension?
I'm completely freaking out right now.
I can tell you are a volcano of passion, sir. And
Yeah.
and you just gotta, yeah, you gotta dial it down, dude. Yeah, because yeah, you're out of control. You're a loose cannon. All right, red, odd, get rid of it. Pocket.
Pocket.
Ooh, the man says pocket. Oh, you know what? See, I do have a pocket chip. Oh, but this is my pocket watch. So I'll just keep that there. This is let's go with red, odd, get rid of it.
Red.
Red, okay. And we only have a few left. Black, odd, get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of this card's terrible. Yes. We only have a few left. Red, odd, get rid of it.
Odd.
Odd, okay. And this is the odd chip, so I'm going to put that there. And yeah, you said odd, is that correct?
That's right.
Beautiful. Red, even, get rid of it. One down.
Even.
Even, okay. Even, the man says. And just watch my hands. Make sure I'm putting everything exactly where you say. Oh, we only have one left, Jason. Black, high card, or get rid of it.
High card.
High card, the man says. All right. So, Jason, did I put everything where you told me to put it?
You did. I'm very excited.
Beautiful. I know, right? So think about this. Imagine if Edgar Allan Poe, with his gambling hobby, made all of these choices from a shuffled deck. If he got all of these right, he would have broken the bank. He would have gotten out of debt. He never had to bother his dad again. Jason, we're gonna see. You're a smart man. You figured out the anagram for Groy in moments, sir. You're a smart man. I want to see if you are even smarter than Edgar Allan Poe. Are you ready?
All right.
All right. So the get rid of it pile should be some random cards, and they are. And I'm going to try do my best to keep them in frame. Okay, Jason, what do we look at? Pocket, high, black, even, red, odd, match. What do we look at?
Even.
Even. Okay. So check this out, Jason. Jacks, queens, kings, aces. Are they even? Are they odd? It depends on the context. It depends on the game. So that there is no debate. Not only should they be even, they should also be even integers. Jason, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Bam, 4, 8, and 10. Jason, you are rocking this. Okay, red, black, odd, match, high card, pocket. What do we look at?
Black.
Black. All right. Let's see if this one and this one and this one are all black. Oh, you know, it'd be cool if yeah, if they were even in order. In ascending order, 8, 1, 2, and 4. Very nice. All right, Jason, you are rocking this. All right, red, high card, odd, match, pocket. What do we look at?
Red.
Red. Okay. Hopefully, these are both red. Oh, that'd be cool if it were a flush. Let's see how you did. Mad genius. Okay, odd, match, high card, pocket. What do we look at?
Let's do the no, our odd and match together.
Odd and match together. Okay, so we're going to remember that this is from the odd pile, but so is this.
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at this card. That's a 9. Oh, 9 of spades. Jason, there aren't 2 9 of spades in the deck. There aren't identical cards. Oh no, say the windshield wiper fingers of mystery. Oh no, but every card has a match. Yeah, you know, Jason, you're great at this. But every card has a match. There's only one other black 9 in the deck. What is it, Jason?
The 9 of clubs.
Guys, Jason, you are killing this. All right, Jason. Oh, this was odd. This was from the odd pile. High card, pocket. What do we look at?
So what are you doing with that other odd one?
We haven't looked at it yet because you said you wanted to look at the odd with the match, and that's what we did. But
Copy.
this was still from the odd pile. Pocket. Oh, okay, pocket. Now this is my pocket watch, and I've had it for a long time. And you can see from the engraving, it's a little chipped, but hopefully you can see. I don't know if it's in reverse for you, but it says you chose the 3 of hearts.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. You can see it clearly enough. Oh, this guy. Oh, man. Where were you when Edgar Allan Poe was around? So this is odd. This is high. What do we look at?
High.
High? What is the highest value in the deck, Jason?
Oh, it depends. Could be the ace.
The ace, okay. Let's narrow things down. Say red or black.
Black.
Oh, black. Okay. So, Jason, we're going to narrow things down again. Imagine you're sitting next to me. You have the ace of spades in one hand and the ace of clubs in the other, and you hand one of them to me. Jason, what did you just hand me? The ace of spades or the ace of clubs?
The ace of spades.
You handed me the ace of spades, so you are still holding the ace of clubs. Is that correct?
That's right.
Oh, come on. Jason, what are you're Jason? And then finally, this is the last card left. This was from the odd pile. Guys, can we get a drum roll? I don't, it doesn't matter if you're muted. We're going to get a drum roll. Jason, I love it. Is this odd? And it is. Jason, how is he doing this? How is he doing this?
That was impressive.
Yes. You're impressive, Jason. Holy crap. All right, how are we doing on time? Oh, we only have a few minutes, and so I'm gonna start speeding things up. Who will help me with Professor Moriarty's prediction? Who will help me?
Ooh, I can handle Professor Moriarty if you would like.
Yes, you can, but hey, yeah, it's all that MJ you smoke. Okay, so yeah,
that's right,
you're very calm, you're very zen. Okay, so as you know, we would not have Professor Moriarty without Edgar Allan Poe, C. Auguste Dupin. And I already mentioned that Arthur Conan Doyle just admitted that he was stealing from Edgar Allan Poe when he came up with Sherlock Holmes. But to stay thematic, we do have an Edgar Allan Poe deck of cards because we've spared no expense, Madame Genet.
All right. Yes.
Yes, Madame Genet, I'm going to keep... how many times should I cut these cards, Madame Genet?
7.
Okay, I think that was 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You said 7?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, we don't have to get everything exact, but watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about 10 cards. Close. The goal here is to try to get somewhere around 10 to 13 because as you know, you can divide the cards evenly by 4s into 13s. But of course, the 2 jokers or any wild cards can throw that number off. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but we are going to see how Professor Moriarty did. So, Madame Genet, this was just an example. How many cards do you want pile number 2? And again, make it somewhere around 10 or 13, but it's up to you.
10.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How about pile number 3?
11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm not here to do math. I don't even remember how many that is. I'm sure Jason can tell us because he's such a whiz. Nippers. But Madame Genet, you, and now we have 4 piles, and I have piles, they're odd and even. Let's narrow things down. Say odd or even, Madame Genet.
Even.
Even. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take, I'm going to make it harder on Professor Moriarty and his mathematical prediction. I'm going to turn those even piles face up. Oh, and watch this. Watch this, Madame Genet. Oh, I'm shuffling them. I'm shuffling them face up and face down. But watch this. I'm flipping the pile. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm shuffling everything face up, face down. Oh, no, it's chaos. I flipped it again. And then I'm going to shuffle face up, face down. It's chaos, dogs and cats living together, chaos of biblical proportions, mass hysteria. And so now we have some cards shuffled. We have cards, they're all shuffled, but some are face up, some are face down. And you made all the choices. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Beautiful. Okay. So here comes Professor Moriarty's mathematical prediction. Even if it's 1 off, that's still pretty cool. But let's see his first one. There are 10 face down cards. Okay, so here we go. A 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do my best to keep everything in frame. If you were here, I would ask you to deal this yourself. What was that?
No, thank
3?
you. Yes.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's all that MJ. I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll do it for you. 1, 2, 5. Let's see. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh.
10.
It was exactly 10. But is there more? I hear you cry. Yes, Levi. Thank you so much for screaming that at the top of your lungs. Yes, there must be more. It is Professor Moriarty. He's always 1 step ahead. So if he got that prediction right, why not the next one? Let's see. Is there 5 are red, 5 are black. Now again, Madame Genet, if you were here, you would just fan these all out. Oh, look at that. 5 are red, 5 are literally down the center. 5 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are red, 5 are black. So far, from the shuffle deck, out of all the piles that you were in control of, so far he's gotten it right. Oh, but Levi screams, couldn't there be more? Levi, I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, sir. Yes, I agree. The black cards spell a very important number today. Let's take a look at this. And I'm going to try to deal this so it's a little easier for you to see, Madame Genet. 10, 3, ace, or 1, 2, 4. Does that mean anything to you? Jason knows because he's good with numbers. Wait, I'm sorry, Madame Genet. What did you say?
Oh, no. 10,
No.
3,
Okay.
ace, 2, 4.
What could it
And
mean?
that would be
Jason
October
knows.
the 3rd.
31st. Well said, Madame Genet.
Yes.
24, just like we rehearsed.
24,
Yes. Thank you for sticking to the script. Yes, Madame Genet, just like we rehearsed. Brilliant.
Exactly.
But then Levi screams, couldn't there be more? Levi, I'm so glad you brought that up because, there's another prediction. The red cards complete a diamond royal flush. Let's take a look. Let's see. We have a 10. We have a jack. We have a queen. Oh, but you know what? If Jason were here, he would say tisk tisk. Because although this is definitely a flush, technically it's not a royal flush. It's not even consecutive. There is an 8 over. Moriarty was off by 1 prediction. I'm so sorry, Madame Genet. But wait, Levi, thank you. Levi is screaming at the top of his lungs. Couldn't there be another explanation? Levi, I'm so glad you brought that up. Here's the thing. The 8 of diamonds, this is, not everybody knows this. every birth date, like for instance, my birth date is August the 23rd. Every birth date does have a card. So if you look up the birth date, January 19th, does that mean anything to you, Madame Genet?
Oh, yes, that would be Mr. Poe's birthday of
That would be Mr. Poe.
1809.
Exactly. And speaking of eights, if you look this up, this is true. The 8 of diamonds is his birthday. So even though Moriarty was off by 1, hey, thank you. He said, could there be more in the paper? Levi. Oh, eagle eye, sir. Let's see. The red cards complete a diamond royal flush, except for Edgar Allan Poe. Give it up for Madame Genet. Yes.
Yes,
Bravo.
the Poe.
Bravo.
The Poe knows.
Okay. The Poe knows. Yes, exactly. All right. I know we have like we only have about a minute because they were kind enough to play a video for me at the end of my set. So I'm gonna talk through this quickly because this will be the finale. And until you see that video that they were kind enough to play. And my friends, again, thank you so much for letting me be here. Lady Carmina, do you mind taking us home? It's magic. Thank you, Wade. Yeah, Lady Carmina, are you busy? Oh, we're back in a seance world. Lady Carmina,
I'm here. Yes, I did. I thought I was
on mute. All right, I'm gonna talk fast because I don't want to take up too much of anybody else's time. I have a deck of cards here. They're in no particular order, but you don't have to take my word for it. Oh no, say the windshield wiper, fingers of mystery. I'm gonna keep shuffling till you say stop, Lady Carmina.
Stop.
Excellent. Oh, thank you, Levi. And Levi, I could not have done it without your input. So thank you, sir. Okay. So Lady Carmina, are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so watch this. I have this little card wallet that's been with me the whole time. I have discovered, especially with the black background, it helps to elevate it. The paper clips maybe shine a little bit. Can you see the card wallet, Lady Carmina?
Yes.
Beautiful. I'm going to slowly take off the paper clips because it was the paper clips keeping it closed. And there's a prediction inside, Lady Carmina. Can I show you?
Yes.
Ooh, it literally says prediction. Everybody say, ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah.
Yes, all right. And I like Levi's Robert De Niro half smile, half scowl. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a prediction. All right, I like that impression. Just in time for Halloween. Did you guys see Levi's face? That was beautiful. Oh my God. Okay, all right, here we go. So watch this. Once again, we're going to do everything by 5s, and you're going to create a pile, and we're not going to use the whole deck, partly because I know I'm running out of time, but also we don't even need it. So watch this. From the shuffle deck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or kind of like what we did with the photo. I can just drop it like it's hot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I can go from the bottom or the middle. Lady Carmina, everything is up to you. Top, bottom, or middle, Lady Carmina?
Right. Middle.
Middle, she says. Now, again, if you were here, you would do this yourself. That looks like the middle to me, but do I need to move it or are you okay? How do you feel?
That's good. That's good.
You think that's good? Beautiful. Do I drop it like it's hot? Do I deal? What do I do with that, Lady Carmina?
Deal.
Deal. Okay. Do I deal top to bottom or bottom to top, Lady?
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. That's a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5. Do we play or stay, Lady Carmina?
Play.
Okay. Top, bottom, or middle?
Top.
Top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I deal or drop?
Drop.
Drop it like it's hot. Do we do another move or do we stay? It's up to you, Lady Carmina.
Let's stay.
Let's stay. Excellent. Now I'm going to take the pile that you created, and this is the last thing. Just like we've been doing all along, I'm going to do everything by 5s, but this time I am going to deal 1 at a time to create 5 distinct piles. And since you did so well with your choices, it is a multiple of 5. Every pile has an even number of cards. However, you told me how far to shuffle the cards. And from this pile, you told me top, bottom, or middle. You told me drop it like it's hot or deal. And you even told me when to stay. Was everything up to you, Lady Carmina?
Okay.
I'll take that. Yes, I agree. All right, let's take, ooh, oh, look at, ooh. This is interesting. It's the gold bug pose. Do you see that?
Yeah.
There's a little semicolon there. Yeah. And that says 1. Let's see if the first card, ooh, it's a semicolon. This is getting interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. And the next one, 2, that's like an end parentheses. 2 end parentheses, Lady Carmina. You're very good. Oh, but yes, Levi says, should there be more? Levi, you are on it, sir. Number 3 is a cross. Let's see how you do. Ooh, and 3 is a cross. And I'm doing my best to keep it in frame. If you can't see anything, just let me know.
Nice.
4 is a double cross. Oh, and 5 is a dot in the middle and a dot in the middle. Give Lady Carmina a big round of applause. Yes. And oh, but Levi says, shouldn't there be more? He screams, yes, Levi, I agree. As we know, the Goldbug code has a meaning. Now, I don't expect you to know the meanings of these symbols, but you can actually look it up on the interwebs, and they actually have decoded it for you. Can I show you what these symbols mean, Lady Carmina?
Yes.
TSDOP. And again, I'm trying to keep this in frame. Does that mean anything to you, Lady Carmina? TSDOP. Thanks, 6 degrees of Poe. Well said, Lady Carmina. Yes, she did it. She did it. Thank you. Thanks, 6 degrees of Poe. And Lady Carmina, I want to thank you, especially because you matched my predictions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You matched them in order. You gave it meaning using Poe's Goldbug cryptograms and codes. But you know what's really amazing, Lady Carmina? You did this in a deck that doesn't even exist. Give it up for the Lady Carmina. I know, Virginia. I'm freaking out too, Virginia. Yes.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
yes.
You're awesome. I didn't do anything. I'm merely your vessel. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. And Lady Carmina, if you do have it available, we have a video that lasts less than 4 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.
It is an amazing video. Yeah, Michael, that was amazing. That was so fun.
It's humorous and very well done from Jason, and I agree wholeheartedly. It was entertaining and it was just great, except for the words with mommy, but okay. Anyway,
I know. I don't even know why I put that in. I apologize.
I know it's
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everybody.
Just give me just a moment.
Yes, while she's queuing up Micah's video, we want to once again thank all of our Poe guests so far. It has been amazing. Micah's magic, Virginia's history of Halloween, Levi's breaking and entering. I mean, his meeting of the ghost of Poe, Jason following into the Bermuda Triangle, but getting it out. So we're great. Thank you. We love the manuscript in a bottle. And after we see the short video, we will meet with another special Halloween guest, but whenever you are ready, Lady Carmina.
I am. Let me just get this shared. Here we go.
Uh-oh, he's in a straitjacket. Oh no.
Should play.
Press play.
I did.
Well, it's not playing. This doesn't have the little.
There we go.
There's bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Open here I flung the shutter when, with many a flirt with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stop nor stayed he, but with the mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched above my chamber door. Perched upon the bust of Pallas. Just above my chamber door perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven. Ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is. On the night's Plutonian shore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign in parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest of the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from out of my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight orange streaming throws a shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Thank you.
That was awesomely creepy for the Halloween. Very good.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you.
was
Thank you,
bravo.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Micah. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for sharing your magic and
Yes.
giving us the
Thank you.
Poe from before. Nevermore. Okay.
Yes. And
All right.
And Micah, one more thing, Madame Genet, before you call
Mhm.
forth the next person.
Oh, yes.
Micah, you have the Night of the Raven, and that is in
Yeah.
November, is that correct?
That's right, late November, and I don't think anybody's local, but it is a variety show for charity that is dedicated to the life, work, and mysterious death of Edgar Allan Poe. I wish you guys could be there, but it means the world that you support it, even online. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday.
All
Sure.
right. So,
All right.
Madame Genet,
Yes.
I'm kind of seeing some green hills and beautiful
Yes, I'm seeing some
area.
more water. I'm seeing some more water, and it seems from across the pond. It
Yes.
may be coming. It may be coming. The green hills, the rolling. I feel the Irish in the air.
Yes.
Oh, it could be, yes, from our wonderful sister from well, I guess it wouldn't be a sister. Well, it would be mine because I'm Irish by, history. But anyway, joining us from over the pond is Mr. Wayne O'Brien. I just blew that up. Sorry. It's Wayne. We'll just say Wayne. Welcome, Wayne, and he is going to share yet another connection to Poe for us on this Halloween. So please take it away.
Thank you very much, and great to be back again, Madame Genet, and of course your esteemed guests, and Lady Carmina as well. It's great to be back on the 6 Degrees of Poe, and again in such great company. What a year it's been for me, and for all things that are macabre and gothic in that sense because yeah, so many things have happened this year. It's 175 years the celebration, and you know I got the chance to go to Baltimore as a nominee. Got to meet some of the very cool folks. Didn't get to meet Madame Genet and this time around, but you know maybe the next time. But yeah, got to meet up with Jason and Carmen and with Holly and Hannah and Stephen and just so many people to name Chris as well and Mark and yeah, just you know an amazing time to get to Baltimore and visit the best part of the whole visit and the whole trip for me was to meet the people like yourselves that I get to see every week and I get to enjoy your work. So to meet you guys was really cool. That's probably the best part of the trip for me, you know. Got to see lots of stuff, got to visit Poe's grave and the house and even managed at the end of my trip to drop down to DC to check out the steps where The Exorcist was filmed. So that was pretty cool as well. I squeezed that one in the end, so that was awesome. But yeah, I mean, this year has been great. Another wonderful piece of work recently discovered by Bram Stoker after 130 years of it being buried. So that was awesome to see. At the minute, the Bram Stoker Festival is happening in Dublin at the moment, which it does every year. So that's another cool part of the Samhain Festival, as Virginia mentioned, and just listening to the timeline that you were giving, which was great. And one thing I can be very proud of, as you know, somebody from Ireland, is the expression and the concept of survival of my nation across the water to America, because after on Gort Mór, or the Great Hunger, which afflicted my country in the mid 1800s, which I won't go into now. It's a different conversation, but we basically lost half of our population through through hunger, the Great Hunger, or in Irish on Gort Mór, as it was known. But with leaving the country, which half our country, left the country, left Ireland, and half them died. So the trip to America, we took our identity and everything that we are, and part of expression, and how that links in with Samhain, the celebration of expression, of change. I think we're all very much kindred spirits on this call, and I know lots of people who listen and watch your videos and love Poe. They're all kindred spirits, and the one day of the year where they get to walk the earth, where nobody looks at them funny or casts judgment or thinks they're crazy, is on, Oíche Samhain, or Halloween night as it's known. So its origins are fantastic, and how they got to the States and how the transformation into like Halloween's very much an American holiday. Samhain is obviously the Gaelic version of that, which it derived from. And even simple things, Virginia mentioned jack-o'-lanterns really quickly. I don't know if any of you picked up on it, but the wonderful story of jack-o'-lanterns and how that came about. So because we don't have pumpkins in Ireland, we used turnips. And when we took the celebration to the Americas, we didn't have turnips, so pumpkins were a lot bigger, easier to carve, and a lot more impressive looking color wise, etc. But the reason a quick one on why he's called Jack o' Lanterns, he was a tricky character, Jack, and he tricked the devil into various things, and eventually when his time came to leave the mortal coil, because he was a bad character, God wouldn't take him, and because he tricked the devil wouldn't take him. So he was committed to walk the earth forevermore, and never to never to have his soul laid to rest. So that's Jack o' lanterns. But the trick or treating one, the origins of that with Samhain. So one reason why people dressed up as ghouls, as Virginia mentioned again, was not only to potentially scare off any evil ghouls or ghosts or puka as they call it in Ireland, but it was also to blend in. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the TV series The Walking Dead. So one of the things they did was they'd coat themselves in zombie blood and body parts, and they'd mingle in amongst the zombies. That's what dressing up and Icha Samhain would do, is that you could walk about and spirits would look upon you and not know if you were another spirit. So they would leave you alone, basically. And the trick or treating as well, the giving of gifts or face the wrath of a trick. That was in relation to the fairy folk. That Samhain was about offerings as well, sacrifice and offerings. And the doorway to the other world was very much part of as well, where the air between our world and the other world, where the dead could walk the earth and pay homage to our ancestors and touch base with our ancestors. I can remember as a kid, bonfires was a big thing around Icha Samhain, and that again was offerings and sacrifice. But fire gazing, and as a child looking into the flame, and the bright orange in the darkness of what Halloween or Samhain, even the eve of Samhain was very magical as a kid to see all that, and very spiritual as a kid. So yeah, it's just it's an incredible holiday, and I know I keep pointing out to Virginia, but as I was sitting here, I was kind of going, the world has no idea how much we've given as from a global scale, a very, very small nation, but we've spread far and wide, and we've survived because we were taken in by the rest of the world in a time when we were being persecuted, for who we were. Virginia mentioned Saint Valentine. Not many people know this, but Saint Valentine's remains are actually in Dublin, and they were gifted to I think it was the Carmelite monks by a pope. So his remains are in Dublin, in Ainger Street, in the Carmelite Church there in Ainger Street in Dublin. And also Santa Claus, his remains are in Kilkenny, County Kilkenny. And how Santa Claus got there was, the story goes that the Templar Knights in what is now modern day Turkey, but would have been ancient Greece at the time. That's where he comes from. Saint Nicholas comes from Turkey, modern day Turkey or ancient Greece. So the story goes the Templar Knights took his remains to Ireland, and he's in Kilkenny. So we have so many link and tie-ins where I got a chance to bring some gifts with me to Baltimore. I visited David Poe's home, and I took some stones, some foundation stones from the grounds, and I brought them to Baltimore. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring too many because of the weight of the stones. So I brought what I could. If I ever get back to Baltimore, I'll bring some more. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was great to deliver that, and me and Carmen had a wonderful moment. I know I missed you at the end, but we had a great moment there toward the end. So it was great to do and have a link back to the old company with so yeah, it's been a great year, as I said, and I've met and spoken to some really cool people. I got to very honored to do a bit of work as well. Jeannie's poem, "Death Takes No Prisoners." It was a real honor to do that poem, because I know how special it is to Jeannie, and we spoke a bit about pulling together the visuals on it, and and some of the music as well. So and I spoke to Carmen when I was there, and I'm not sure if many people got a chance to listen to it, but there's some secret messages in the audio that if you listen really carefully to it, It's a little message for Jeannie. So if you get a chance to listen back to it, really ramp up the volume, and you should be able to pick out the messages in it. But that was something buried in it for you, Jeannie. So hopefully you get a chance to listen to that again. But yeah, as I said, I've had a great year. I've gotten to meet some cool people and listen to some cool work. The information from Levi, and then the very good work by Virginia and Mika's show, and Jason's fantastic audio. And one thing I got to do as well when I was in Baltimore was try and support all the other artists. I probably spent more than I should have, but it was great to see everybody's work and meet everybody. I don't think I'll forget it. It was a great trip for me. So yeah. So Carmen, did you have anything you wanted me to anything else you wanted me to do, or I was gonna see if you could maybe bring up Jeannie's poem on YouTube if you can.
Actually, she's already got it
Oh, look at
Queued
that.
up and ready to go.
There you go.
and this
I had
is
no
the
idea.
perfect segue to do
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
you just kind of informally introduced it.
Exactly. Yes. And thank you, Wayne, for all the wonderful, Carmen, and I both have enjoyed meeting you and getting to know you and having you on the show, and crossing across the ocean and having that connection through Poe and everything. So thank you. And you did such a wonderful job with my poem. I appreciated it. Made it so much heartfelt to me. And yes, I would like to share it for everyone to show both, Wayne and how his interpretation of what I wrote and how much I appreciate it so much. So without further ado, here is Death Takes No Prisoners.
Death takes no prisoners and thrives on hopes and dreams. Death shows no mercy for the many tears and screams. Death has only one purpose, no matter your beliefs and faith. Death is empty and silent with the broken strings of fate. Death always fulfills its goal, no emotion changing its course. Death waits for no one, shattering hearts with no remorse. Death listens to and laughs, getting high on what it's achieved. Death comes in a flash, or slowly, offering some a release. Death does its job splendidly, sitting back, waiting as a calm sea. For those who are left behind, death will soon return for thee.
Yeah, bravo, Jeannie. Wonderful, wonderful poem.
Thank you.
I know how close it is to your heart. So it was a real honor to have read that.
Yeah,
So
it was
thanks.
very
Thanks.
special that you offered for me because, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a connection to the old world, and it made it even more that connection connected to that poem, because that poem, as you know, and we've discussed it, it's very close to my heart. And I just hope everyone enjoys and your voice and your creativity that you put into it. I greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much.
It was an honor, it really was. Thanks very much.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Now, speaking of the connections to the other world, maybe we can close it out with it's 2:30 in the morning here, so I'll
Oh,
close out perhaps with Spirits of the Dead.
oh yes, that would be wonderful. That would be
Okay.
perfect, actually.
Cool. Okay, so here we go. Thy soul shall find itself alone, mid dark thoughts of the grey tombstone, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again in death around thee, and thy will shall then overshadow thee. Be still, for the night though clear shall frown, and the stars shall look not down from their high thrones in the heaven, with like hope to mortals given. But their red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever which would cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, now our visions ne'er to vanish, and from thy spirit shall they pass no more, like dewdrop from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God is still, and the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token, how it hangs among the trees, the mystery of mysteries.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I mean, it's a perfect Halloween poem by all means.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sharing, Wayne.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've had a great evening. I know it's quite late here. It's 2:30 in the morning, but an awesome group between everybody's input, and I've had real fun, and it'd be great to come back on again at some stage. And again, the offer always remains, if any of you ever get a chance to come to Ireland, please give me a call, and I'll meet you at the airport, and I'll bring you around, and I'll take you to where Poe's people come from,
Woohoo.
in Ireland, and get you to check
It's
that
on
out.
my bucket list. It is on my bucket list.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. And I guess Halloween is over for you technically. So
Yeah, well, the march into the dark hours has begun, and the ancient people of the land, that their cattle would have come down from the high grounds to to graze and better and get out of the cold and the darkness, because in the darkness lingers bad things and creatures and all things mystic.
yes, they are waiting in the darkness. Well, thank you, Wayne. We truly appreciate you joining us. All right, Lady Carmina.
Yes.
Shall we move on to our next spiritual endeavor?
Yes.
Which would be, well, first of all, do you want to do the Hinduina? Hindu,
Yes.
whatever.
We do want to play a video, and as you guys know, I spent a week on a tour with Victoria Price, Vincent Price's daughter, and she lives in the Hendersonville, North Carolina area. And they were hit very, very hard with the Helene. And so she has been diligently working towards fundraising to help businesses that were not able to really utilize insurance and things, like they were just wiped out. And so she's calling it's like the Mud and Flood Fund. And so she has a couple different things going on to help monetarily. You can donate. You can also, there's a thriller dance challenge that you can enter to do a donation, which is really cool. And then she's also has an online auction that started yesterday, and lots of people in the horror community are donating things. Cassandra Peterson, trying to think, Svengoolie, Robert England. There's you can just like go on and on and on. And so we were going to just play a little short video just to kind of help promote the fundraising out there. So
And I would like to add on to that, because on the Tennessee side, my hometown was one of the counties that is still wiped out, that is blocked off because of, we're right on the North Carolina border. 2 people in my county were killed. Thankfully, no more than that, but there was, it's just gone. I mean, my hometown is no longer. So, but yes, so I this is near and dear to my heart also, because most of my family came from the North Carolina side. So if anyone can help, please do. And she's going to play the Hindoween. Is it called Hindoween? Yes.
yeah, so
Hindoween.
because of Henderson County. and
Henderson County,
so
yes.
Hindoween.
We-
Just play on words, which as you know, we love.
Oh yes, yes.
It's gonna
Near and dear to our hearts. Mine.
find the video. It escaped me for a moment.
Yeah, seeing it ran that way.
Okay, let me share.
It does that.
Share my screen.
Sorry. I keep shaking my head because I forget that I've got my earrings on. Sorry.
Master of Menace, Vincent Price, but I don't like being in front of the camera. What I do like is helping people. And I live in Western North Carolina, which has been devastated by Hurricane Helene. So I have started a fundraiser, and I've invited all these cool people to help me raise awareness and raise funds for Hurricane Helene. Really cool people like my friend Daniel Roebuck.
Hello. Hey, it's me, Danny Roebuck, and I'm a lifetime fan of her father and new friend of Victoria. And when she told me about all the terrible things, I mean, we all watch news. Come on. You know what happened to North Carolina. Devastating. Houses just disappeared. And so many people were not covered for insurance. It's if the rain comes in the roof, you're covered.
No water is covered. 5 trees. I had 5 trees covered. Mud, flood, nothing.
That's crazy. So you've come up with a wonderful way to raise money for these people, and anybody in the world can take part in this.
Yep.
There's a lot of really interesting things. It's Halloween, right?
Yes, Halloween, because it's Henderson County, and one of them is a thriller dance challenge, right?
We can do that.
We can do it. That's it.
But do it a little better than us.
Yeah, way better than
Yeah,
us.
yes.
right?
Dad would say, I don't think it's very good. But we're going to work. There's a lot of celebrities have donated a lot of stuff. Like, I'm kind of a D-list celebrity. But look at this. I played Grandpa Munster in the new Rob Zombie Monsters. And we've got so much stuff. So many great, wonderful people have donated. And all you got to do is go to where?
Go to the links that are going to be in the little text.
Right here?
Right here, right below. And, do what Daniel Roebuck says to do.
Yeah, because everybody listens to me. So we're going to do a thriller dance off, and we're going to have a silent auction. And the last thing is,
You can just donate to the
just
Bucket
give
Fund.
money. Yeah.
Yep.
Just give money. These people need your help. They were there for you when you needed help. We'll be there for them when they need help. All right. God bless you all. Thank you for helping.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
All right. So thank you for letting us share that with you guys.
Yes, it's like I said, it's another thing that's very near and dear to my heart, because luckily none of my family was affected, because I do live, high up in the mountains, but they're just trapped mostly. Can't really go anywhere, so that's okay. They're okay. But so on with our Poe Halloween. We need to finish off for tonight. So I'm gonna conjure up our next person. Oh my goodness, what is the ball telling me? Oh no, what is it? Is it Poe? Is it? No. You're supposed to conjure Poe. Poe is not here, but we have Lady Carmina.
Yes.
She has come to us instead of Poe. Why? Why, Lady Carmina? Why did you not bring the Poe? Why are you here?
Because I have a poem to share.
Yes.
Remember?
Mhm.
And
Share with us.
I am trying to find it. Just one moment. All right, I have it ready. And this is it. This is like around 3 minutes.
Cool. So she is connecting us with her Poe, since Poe won't show up for us tonight.
I know that Poe.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
He wasted all his spiritual energy on Levi.
And this is a new poem. So this is fresh, new poem.
Awesome.
When the night goes long, a loon sings his song while shadows wait for dawn. The moon appears to shed its tears for the one who has just gone. By a cloudy lake, his loved one quakes as she cannot shake the death just made, seeing the departed in the coffin laid. Only those who remain on the living plain can fret and breathe their pain as they silently wait on this side of the grave. The grass grows so high beneath an empty sky, with ravens floating by, moss tendrils braid o'er the stone. She rises each day, hands pressed to pray, and remorse to pay to her lost love, now only flesh and bone. A cemetery walk is made, one lily is laid on the betrothed's grave, from her bridal bouquet, unused, unscathed, unthrown. Only those who remain on the living plain can fret and breathe their pain as they silently wait on this side of the grave. 12 days have passed, the 13th lily is the last, awaiting as her last task. Tombstones hide the peace of the dove, blissful remnants of forlorn love. She stands and stares with a cheerful glare as a familiar hand clutches her side, filled with sin and filled with pride. The stranger there loomed, the man who killed her groom, mocking her husband's tomb, as she embraced him as more than a friend. Only those who remain on the living plain can fret and breathe their pain as they silently wait on this side of the grave. The sunset disappeared, vanishing all tears, never wept for the departed near. Skies darkened into night, but the moon was just right. The stars made guilty glances as the man made advances, clutching her, both beginning to dance over the fresh dirt not yet firm, with no care or concern. The air grew dense as the fog rose over the fence, caressing the two in a misty tint. Unbeknownst to them was something reaching out like a limb. Engrossed in tawdry love, neither felt the morbid glove before they felt a shove, separating the two apart, giving them both a harrowing start. As she began to rise, she looked up to the scintillating skies, into familiar eyes, the eyes of the dead groom, and all she saw was impending doom. Only those who remain on the living plain can fret and breathe their pain as they silently wait on this side of the grave. On this 13th night there was nothing in sight except the tombstone of a hoodwinked knight. The only difference from previous days were the mounds of two freshly dug graves. Only those who remain on the hallowed plain can plan and wait for revenge to gain as they silently wait on this side of the grave.
Well, that's not morbid. Woohoo! woo!
Oh, well, it was
But
kind
yes,
of me.
you know, they're very good, very good. This side of the grave, as you know, with Halloween, we're trying to
Absolutely.
conjure.
It was very fitting. Yes,
Yes,
about
yes.
probably a month and a half ago, I was listening to something and that kind of phrase, this side of the grave, came to me. And some words came into my mind. And as soon as I got to school, I wrote some things down. And then when I got home that night, I told Jeff, I said, don't talk to me for about 30 minutes. And I wrote more, and then it was okay. So,
Well, he listened, so that's good. He can be told what to do and listen. So yeah.
so yes, he can. He's a good man. But then when
Well,
he read
go
my
ahead.
poem, he was like, "Should I be worried?" I said, "No."
Maybe. You never know. Maybe not.
No.
But it is El Jefe, so he'll be fine.
I think, Madam Janae, I thought we had another guest coming.
I don't know. Let me see. Do we have another guest? Well, I may have to look at my crystal ball. Let's see. Shall I conjure? Am I looking? I'm looking.
I
There
mean,
should be one. There's
you-
someone showing. Lady Carmen, do you see? Do
I
you
don't.
feel? I see him coming. I
Do you?
see. I see. It is Poe.
It is
Mr. Edgar
Poe.
Poe. He's shown. Woo woo. He is from the spiritual plane, has shown up. And where did he go? Poe, where did you
You're still
go?
there.
There we go. Ah, he does not have enough to stay with us. No, no, we're so
Oh,
sorry. There goes
you
Poe.
almost had him to stay. You almost had
I,
him to stay.
I'd lost him. I lost him.
Oh,
Well, Poe,
it's a
we love
poerition.
you.
Yes.
Yes, it's a poerition. It's a poerition.
Well,
Poerition.
you got him to be here for a moment. He just didn't get to
Yes.
speak to us. So that's
Yes. And it was good because I think Levi's energy helped gain the Poe,
yes.
brought the Poe, and Jason with the manuscript in the bottle brought him, to us also. And then Micah with his magic was, feeling it. And then Wayne with the spirits of the dead, he conjured him for us.
Mhm.
So, and then Virginia, you probably scared him with all the talk of the mass that we had to deal with when we were younger. So, that's probably why it took so long for us to get him. Thanks. No, I'm just like,
Oh my goodness.
but well, we got our Poe at least by the end.
Absolutely.
But thank you everyone for joining
Yes.
us on this All Hallows Eve 2024 for our Poe and our poster people.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And hey, we'll probably do another one, not so soon, probably, but in the near future. Pay attention. We are going to be coming up with our 100th episode. It's amazing. We cannot believe it's been that long. So
Yes.
we will be having that out towards the end of December. It's kind of ironic. It's close to the new year and close to Poe's birthday. So, but thank you, everyone. Thank you. The mirrored ball is now going to have to be put away for another year.
Yes.
It has lost its energy because All Hallows Eve is coming to an end.
Yes.
So thank you once again.
Everyone. Yes.
Everyone. Micah, our
amazing.
magician, Virginia, our what kind of costume was that again? Some type of
Her name is Kuroni.
Corona.
She's
Did you say
Japanese, don't worry
Coroni?
about it. She's Japanese.
Okay. It's like macaroni? Coroni. Okay. And then we got Wayne, and then we got Levi and the Anthill, or excuse me, the Ocean State. Jason, we can't wait to whatever you have coming out next. I
Yes.
mean, you bring us some great stuff. We love it. You have merch too. We know we got some. So check out Jason Markowitz. You can find him on YouTube. Find all this cool stuff. Check out Levi's book with his essay He talks about his connection to Poe. Wayne
Like
has
his
his
walking
own
tour.
YouTube
Walking
and his walking tour. Yes, he has a walking tour. So, you know, anybody that comes see him in Rhode Island, check him out. He'll take you on a tour. Hopefully it's not a 3-hour tour and you'll get stuck off in the ocean. Gilligan's not around, but that's okay. Wayne has his own YouTube. It's the Irish Poets
By
by
Candlelight.
Candlelight. Yes, that's right. You know, he has some great more videos on there to check out. And he's working on his own project now. Hopefully he's going to give us some connection to, you know, Poe in the past. So in Poe's past. So that's good. Look forward to that. Micah, you're going to give us some more magic coming up. You have your yearly Poe, what's exactly, it's called the
Night of the
what is it
Raven.
exactly? Night of the Raven. I knew it had a raven in it. Sorry. I haven't had any candy, so my sugar intake's going down. I'm losing
Yes.
energy.
Well, and also too, November, Levi is going to be our Gothic guest.
Yes,
And Jason is going to be our Gothic guest for December. So they will be back returning with us. So
yes,
excited
so,
about
yeah,
that.
check it. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. Just stay, you know, pay attention. Keep following us. You'll never know what we can come up with because Carmen comes up with all kinds of ideas and I just look at her and glare and go, stop that. Then I'm like, oh, that might work. Okay, we can do that. But thank you for joining us on the chat. We actually had Paula Sherlock join us. She was, you know, a new person, and Holly, of course, stayed around with us, even her being sick as she was. And for everybody, remember, catch out her book, Eye of Athena. You can catch it on Amazon. So without further ado, on All Hallows Eve, I say trick or treat. We are Poe out.
Out. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao. Why am I got Lightning McQueen coming on? I don't know.
Do what?
I got Lightning
Thanks so much,
McQueen.
you guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks,
This is awesome.
Jason.
And Jason, thank you too
Yes.
for the technical help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, my pleasure. Yeah,
All
anytime.
right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you
thank
later.
you.
All right, good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, hold on, Jeannie. Let me end
Oh.
the stream.